everybody, and welcome into another episode of the PHNX Suns podcast. This is going to be an exciting episode because we have a very special guest joining us here in just a few minutes.
I am back. You're welcome.
Not so excited. Although he is here with us today. Welcome back. Gerald's here as well, and so is Espo. But coming up, we're going to have the one and only Frank Kaminsky calling in to join the show.
I don't believe it till I see it.
I think Espo is the most excited out of the entire world right now.
How amazing would this be if I just pulled this massive troll that is just some other dude that shows up?
Well, first of all, there would not be an angrier, and I do mean angrier person in the world than Lindsay.
Yes.
Because then you have just wasted 30 minutes of show prep for no reason,
Yes.
and then what do we do now?
Oh, that would be so
Oh my
amazing.
God.
It's just
We
so-
should
worst
totally
Rickroll
do that
ever.
one
You
day.
should absolutely not do that one day.
Some
I
of the
would be
worst Rickroll
so
ever.
pissed.
we find some dude named Charles Barkley that isn't Charles Barkley, and we just
That
I
be
would
awesome.
leave.
She
Like, I
would.
would literally just get up and leave. You figure it out, you
That would be
brat.
hilarious. It'd probably want to be one of our best interviews anyway.
Rude.
No, not because of
Oh.
that. Jeez. No, I mean because we would just be
Jeez.
flying random shit at some random dude named Charles.
I mean, it would be kind of funny.
I love Aaron. The title makes me want to unsubscribe. I did refer to him as Suns legend. So.
I mean, I think that there are different ways that you can be a legend to people.
I mean,
And Frank is definitely a legend.
if they've referred to Tim Kempton as a legend, Frank at least scored some points for the Suns. So
Damn.
Shots
Damn.
This man.
Ooh,
came out
catching
firing.
strays on a Wednesday.
Frank's
Espo,
got
we're not at the
highlights.
Shady Rays ad read just yet.
shit.
Just wait a
Sorry,
little bit of
guys.
time. We're not there
Sorry.
yet. We're not there yet. All right. Well, while we wait for Frank to call
Good thing I'm
in,
wearing my bacon neck tee.
what?
I said it's a good thing I'm wearing my bacon neck tee because
Good Lord.
Yeah.
We did get a few things to note around the NBA. We officially got word on what the actual salary cap kind of looks like for this upcoming season. And it's $3 million more than what I think we anticipated for that second apron, which, listen, it's not like a huge change, but it does add a little bit of wiggle room, right?
I think Matt Ishbia is really excited that there's an extra $3 million. He's punched right through the second apron. He's on his way to outer space. He's like, oh, good, an extra $3 million. No, okay, we already passed that.
It's still something, and it also could potentially speak to future revenue, which we talked about yesterday with new TV deals that maybe will give the Suns a little bit more wiggle room when trying to figure out what they're going to do money-wise with this team throughout the next couple of years.
Yeah, every little bit helps, but they're probably still.
I'm
gonna shoot
trying to
right
be
through it.
positive,
I
you
know.
brat.
It helps. It
Hey,
does.
enough of this.
Yeah.
Because
Nobody cares about the salary cap
Frank,
right now.
Frank. Everybody! What's
That's
up,
the best
Frank?
intro I've ever had. Best intro I've ever had.
Yes.
Just so you know, that was my idea, and I
Oh, now
have to
we're
pay
gonna
each
take
of them $2 to do
credit.
it. I have to pay each of them $2 for doing it. I just want to put that out there.
Frank, they didn't
It's
believe
good.
that it was
Licensing.
actually going to be you. They thought I had some other guy that was just going to show up.
Yeah, I don't know who else it could have been.
Well, we do have a guy named Frank in our chat that we have suspected for over the last year that could potentially be you. So I'm just saying.
It's not. I can promise you it's not.
I mean, he's not in the chat right now, so I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, signs are pointing to that it might be me, but I promise you it's not. Sources are just take my word for it.
Frank, we got to start here. It's an important question. I need to know. Were you aware of Kaminsky Cove as we were pushing that?
Not really. A little bit.
Damn.
I mean, for a while there, I got off of social media, like for a pretty long time. I just like stopped Twitter and everything altogether. I don't know why. I just kind of did. And then when I started getting back on it a little bit here and there, that's when I started seeing the Kaminsky Cove stuff.
See, I love that he tried to save my ego there at the end. He's like, yeah, sure, I saw it eventually.
I heard about it here and there. You know?
Well, Frank, before we get into the interview, we have an honor to bestow upon you.
Yes, we do.
You are officially going to be the first member of the PHNX Hall of Fame We will be putting you into the Hall of Fame here. What it is, we've got a picture of the Kaminsky Cove. We're gonna put it on the bookcase behind me. It'll be there in perpetuity or until the cleaning lady moves it. So here we go.
This is the first induction.
Hopefully,
of the Hall of Fame.
hopefully perpetuity lasts longer.
Yay! It's official.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame, Frank.
That's a great honor. I really appreciate it.
We honestly probably could not have picked a
way
better
up
person
there.
to start this way.
We really can't.
We spared no expense. We got the 4x6 44-cent picture and the $2 frame, but it's up there forever.
I mean, let's be
Frank,
real. Like, he's a legend in Wisconsin. He's got his name up there. He'll be up forever up there. And then just a slight bit below that is this great honor right here. Let's go.
It's up there with the rest of them. I wouldn't say it's even a slight bit below. Right at the top.
Frank, how have you been? What are you up to these days?
I'm good. Just been I'm Frank doing Frank things. Nothing's really changed over here. I'm getting married in 2.5 weeks. So
Congrats.
yeah, thank you. Just been yeah, that's pretty much it.
Frank,
Play basketball here and there. Still try to play basketball every once in a while.
Yes. I wanted to ask you about that because the last we saw of you, you were playing like your best basketball that we had seen here in Phoenix, and then the injury happens. Can you take us through kind of what that process was like? Because I know a lot of people were disappointed for you with the way that kind of just happened, and then you were traded a little bit after that.
Yeah, that was definitely not easy to go through. I mean, I always said it all along. All I ever wanted to do was compete for championships. Like in college, I played my best basketball on like the biggest stages, and that's what it's always been about for me. Like I just want to win. And when I'm around winning, that's when like my best self as a player comes out. So coming off that finals run, especially during COVID and everything, we only had like, what was it, 6 or 7 weeks until the next season started. And it'd been like, you lose the finals and you're like, okay, like I want to get back there. Like, so I went like extremely hard during that 6-7 weeks, like right into training camp. And I really gave myself like no time off. And that's something that like kind of sits in the back of my mind because, I had this stress fracture in my knee the first year I was in Phoenix. And they told me then, like, there's a possibility that it could come back in the future. You just kind of got to be smarter about everything. And I definitely didn't listen. And, I think it was the game after I had that 31-point game against Portland. I don't remember. I think we played Memphis the next game. And I remember I played like almost the first half. And at halftime, I was feeling something in my knee. It just wasn't comfortable. Like it wasn't like it was the first time around. I was just like, this can't be the same thing. Like that was like my thought in the back of my head. Like it's not going to be the same thing. And then we got to, I think it was Minnesota next. And I tried to stand up out of my bed in the morning and that's when I just like knew it. It was like the same thing. Like I tried to play that night. Like I think I played 3 minutes against Minnesota and I just came out of the game and I was like, I got to get this looked at. And it was just pretty much, it was the same thing. I had another stress fracture in my knee. I tried not to have surgery initially, tried to like let it heal for 6 weeks. But after that, it was like, no, you just need the surgery. This isn't going to heal properly on its own. So, it was just a tough blow. Like, but that's part of the nature of the business. Like you try to do everything you can. And sometimes your body just doesn't respond. Like it can't keep up with what you're physically trying to do. And then, if you know me, like, I always try to make the most of every situation. Like, I don't enjoy like the time off, the lifestyle. I just love playing and trying to compete. So, I have no regrets about like not taking any time off or anything like that. But, there is some sort of thought in the back of my mind. Like if I would have just let my body rest, taking things a little bit slower, who knows? But, it happened.
Yeah.
One of the things that is a result of this that could be a positive is just, your perspective on your future and things that maybe you would like to get into outside of basketball. What's that been like, and what things are you hoping to maybe get accomplished as you move forward, whether you play or not?
You know, I'm going to keep trying to play for as long as I can. That's obviously goal number one. And I feel now like, you know, you don't know how bad, like, how much like it takes to get back to where you were until you kind of have to like go through it and do it. And it took me a long time for my knee to like get back to where I feel comfortable. And now like now I feel as good or better than I did like beforehand because there's like no like I have no restrictions. I don't even think about it anymore. It just it is what it is. Like I had surgery, they fixed the problem, it's been addressed and I don't have to think about it anymore. So, and I tell my fiance, like soon to be wife, all of this, like, it's hard for me to prepare for what's next, like while I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, it's always been hard for me to think forward. Like, there's things I'm definitely interested in doing that I enjoy doing, that I've like dabbled in a little bit. But, you know, as long as I'm playing, like, I have to give 100% to basketball. And there's no other way. Like, I've never been able to do it. Like, I've never been able to, you know, get into an off season and then just totally think about something else. That's not me. So we'll just keep going with basketball for as long as I can. You know I'm healthy and I'm ready, so it'll be interesting.
Well, podcasting isn't lucrative, but we can always, you know, let Saul go and get you in here if need be.
Oh, wow.
Damn. I mean, damn. Let Gerald go. All he does is write.
Listen, I will say, I know this is far off because you're still in the middle of basketball, but we all very much enjoyed the videos out of lockdown from COVID, round one at the very least. So if you want to become an influencer and make funny videos, we would all love that too.
I had some more that I never posted. I don't know if I don't know if I ever will. Actually, like even the videos I did during COVID, they all got taken down for like copyright issues because of the songs I used in them and stuff. So I don't know. Being an influencer is too hard. You have to worry about too many things.
This is true. Listen, Frank, we have a couple things in the chat that I want to tell you about because everybody in our chat right now is freaking out that you are here with us. And they're all sending you well wishes and talking about how they wish you were still on the Suns and all the things. But we have a couple super chats. So Frank, the Frank that we claimed could potentially be you, showed up and sent us a super chat and said, Frank Kaminsky has the best outfits. Suck it, Espo.
Damn.
So the way I take this is it's definitely Frank Vogel then. Yeah.
All right. And then we have one
some
from...
style. I have a little bit of style. I got a little bit.
Yeah.
You wearing that Western get up for the wedding? Is that what we're going with, or?
I wish. I wish I had a chance to get a little bit more crazy with my my suit than I did.
All right. So DC sent us one and said Frank was stopping Giannis in the finals. Lots of people talking about what shoulda, coulda, woulda been in that situation there. And then we got one from Joe, and this is the first time Joe has ever sent us a super chat. Joe said, in 2020/2021, Suns were 11-2 when Big Frank was in the starting lineup. They were 8-1 in all the games he played in 2021/2022. The man is a winner, all caps. Get Frank the Tank back to the Valley.
How do you feel about super teams, Frank?
They're pretty cool, I guess.
Frank,
I didn't even know that. It's crazy what people track nowadays. It's like, yeah, we were 8-1 with me in the lineup, but what is the final? What were they, like 64 and whatever? Like,
yeah, but you don't get to 64 without those 8, Frank. I mean, come on.
True. Yeah, we could have been 1-8.
I want to know, tomorrow's the draft, but can you take us back to when you were selected by, Michael Jordan and the Hornets there? What was your draft experience like?
It was good. The draft is like a nerve-wracking experience. And the draft in like 2015, it's just so much different than it is now. It's like, and I'm sure you guys know this, like I can't even look on the Twitter screen on my phone, but like and I'm sure you guys have done this. I don't really look, but like there's 7 million trade ideas that are just being thrown around constantly. Like it wasn't back when I was in the draft, we worried about Woj leaking the picks way too early, and that was it. Like it's kind of crazy how far it's gone. So my experience was like pretty normal. I found out the night before that Charlotte, if I was there at 9, that they were going to draft me. So I kind of knew going into it that like I'm going to be picked probably at number 9. And the only thing I was waiting to see is like if any trades or anything like did actually happen. But yeah, like I knew Charlotte liked me like all along, going through the whole I didn't do the combine, but like draft workouts and visits with teams and interviews and all that stuff. So um, just good. Playing for MJ was awesome. That was a childhood dream of mine, being a Chicago kid. So I had Michael Jordan posters everywhere. Space Jam was like my favorite movie. My aunt and uncle actually worked for the Bulls during that stuff, during the 90s when they were winning championships. So like my first memories of everything were Michael Jordan. So it was just really cool. It kind of came full circle for me.
Do you have any good MJ stories?
I tell this one like kind of all the time, but right after I got drafted and went to Charlotte, there's a little bit of a break before summer league. So I went back home to Chicago, just to hang out, chill, relax. And I was working out at my high school with a trainer of mine back home. And I kept getting a phone call from a Florida number. And I don't answer phone calls that I literally will never, even if I know who it is, it's like kind of out of principle. I don't answer the phone if I don't have the phone number saved in my phone. So I kept denying it, and then it kept calling. So I was like, this might be somebody I need to talk to. And I finally answered it, and it was MJ. And I was like, I'm sorry, like, I know I just denied your calls like 3 or 4 times in a row. I was like, sorry, I was working out. Like my phone was off.
Screening MJ's calls. That's a power move, Frank.
What was it? Wait, what was his response? Did he
was
believe
like,
you?
yeah. I mean, I was in the gym, so technically speaking, I didn't. It's like a fib. It's like a white lie.
That's amazing.
There were rumors that the Suns were interested in that draft. Did you ever hear anything, or is that just kind of hearsay?
So I worked out for the Suns. It was a great workout. Had a great visit with the team. Like I knew they were picking number 13. It was one of the places that I was really like trying to push to come to. I just felt like it was a good situation for me. Like obviously everyone made me feel really welcome. Like that's the thing about some of these NBA like visits and interviews, and when they have you there, it's like you pretty much know from the beginning whether they're interested or not in you. Like realistically. And I could tell from the beginning that Phoenix was really interested. So you feel really like confident coming out of those. You call your agent, you're like, yeah, they love me. They told me they love me. Like, I really like it here. They got great people. But the thing was, like, I didn't know my draft range that they gave me, like, from my agency was I could go anywhere from like 5 to like 20 something, like 22 or something like that. So I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going. So it's just kind of waiting and seeing what happens. And there wasn't a lot of movement on trades, like I said. And, once I got to Charlotte, they drafted me. But I knew, my last year in Charlotte, it was kind of all over the place. And like, even then, Phoenix was trying to trade for me that year up until the deadline. So I knew coming into that offseason that there was going to be a lot of interest. And then when Monty got the job, he called me and said, we're looking to change things there. We're looking for high character guys who can really play. And, I want you to come down here and like be a part of what we're going to do. And I accepted it like almost immediately.
Okay. So Espo said that you were going to spill the tea on the Phoenix Suns when you joined us for this interview. So just some like maybe untold or cool stories.
Yeah, that locker room
from
that you joined that first year was, I mean, probably the most eclectic locker room in the league. You got to have something. Like
I mean, there were some characters definitely on our team. The first year was just so. I mean, when you're trying to change the culture, like we were trying to change, that. I mean, there are some like growing pains, but like Monty did such a great job in the beginning with all of us that like from our first training camp in Flagstaff, like we were really kind of all on the same page. Like you could see there was some bad habits like before I had gotten there, like things that just like were allowed that should not have been allowed or that, needed to be cleaned up. But like we brought in guys like me, Ricky, Aaron Baines, just like some not like older guys, but like guys who kind of just went about their business and did things the right way. And that kind of like set the tone. And then I think in the bubble is really where we all kind of all clicked. That's really what it felt like. It's hard to describe. Like in the bubble, everyone was just, there wasn't anything else to do. So we were just all hanging out every day, and that time is when I started getting like closer with a lot of guys on the team, because I had never really spent that much time in the city that I played in. Like in the off seasons in Charlotte, like I was either there working out or I was like gone back home in Chicago. Like in Phoenix, I didn't want to leave. So we were all there just like working out every day, kind of hanging out. And that's really in the bubble is where it like all kind of clicked and we all got close. Mikhail really took off. Cam started playing really well. Cam Payne came in and started playing extremely well. And that kind of like set the tone for our group moving forward. And that was like, it was really cool to be a part of. Like, that's a really cool thing that I like look back on about my time in Phoenix that like really set the stage for what was going to happen for us.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because that finals run for a lot of people, I mean, obviously the Suns haven't been back to that stage in the 2 years since then, but for a lot of people, it was coming out of the pandemic. It was the first sporting events they could go to. Can you describe what that playoff atmosphere was like for you as a player? Because even for me, that was my first time covering a playoff game, and it just blew the doors off anything that I expected. So I can't imagine what it was like for you.
It was wild. And I'm gonna go back and say this too. Like this is like weird, but my favorite thing about like that COVID year was the way that the bench setup was. Like we had so much space. Like I love that. Like I could go crazy like running around on the sidelines and like we all could. And that was like a part of it too. Like we were just going nuts on the sidelines during that whole playoff run. Like didn't listen to the rules. All of us were hanging like our masks around our chin so we could like scream and yell, like moving around over there. It was fun. But like you could like feel the energy, especially when we played in Phoenix, of like the fans. Because I mean, I don't know how long it had been since there was like a deep playoff run in Phoenix. Like I don't remember like what those were, but the fans were just crazy, and it was so much fun. Like it was the loudest. Like I could tell the first playoff game we played at home against the Lakers, I was like, okay, this is a little bit different than anything I've ever experienced. And it just like, and I thought like, yeah, it's the Lakers. Like maybe it's Lakers, Suns, like. Phoenix fans don't really like the Lakers. And then, no, like every round, it just got progressively like crazier and crazier and crazier. And I think the coolest thing was definitely, getting back from the plane after we beat the Clippers and just having all the fans lined up in the streets. I made Mikhail drive me home so I could like experience it. Like I sat out on Mikhail's sunroof just so like I could experience that. Cause I knew it's like, those kind of things are rare. Like you're not going to experience those very often. And I'm a very much like enjoy the moment type of person. So I just wanted to enjoy that. And that was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of.
Did you ever ask Monty to draw up the valley oop for you at any point?
Yeah. I used to say that all the time. Like in practices all the time, like we do our 3-on-0 like drills and stuff, and I make everyone throw me alley oops because then I quote, I want lob threat to be put on my scouting report.
I love awesome. That. My last question for you, Frank, before we have a game. Hopefully you have time to play with us after we chat for a little bit. But just like your favorite memory or story about Devin Booker, because obviously he was instrumental in kind of starting the turnaround here in Phoenix. He's obviously one of the most loved Suns. What's a moment that stood out to you just about who Devin is?
He definitely is the most loved, and rightfully so. He should be. Like, I think sometimes he's even still underappreciated for really what he does. Like, he's an insane basketball player. Like, I've never seen a lot of the stuff he can do. I've never really seen it before. The first time. I knocked out Devin's Kentucky team in the Final Four.
Hey, we're not talking about the tournament today, there, Frank. Okay.
I know we're not talking about it.
How you beat my Wildcats twice. Okay.
I know we're not talking about it, but when I signed the first time in Phoenix, I had to fly to Vegas to do my physical, meet everybody. I did a couple workouts with the team out there, and Book was down there. And, we went to the game. One of my former college teammates was playing for the Sun Summer League team at the time. So it was cool. Like, we were down there hanging out. And he had a sprinter van set up to go back to the hotel. And I was like meeting everybody for the first time. Like, it's the first time I met Mikhail and like hung out with everybody. And we get in the sprinter van and it's just like kind of wide open. And he hadn't really said much to me the whole time. And he just looks up and goes, I'm still not over it. And I was like, okay, this dude's like, seriously, like, I know it's like a thing, but he's definitely like an extremely competitive person. Like, he wants to be the best. And that's like the kind of characteristic and quality trait you want out of the guy leading your franchise. Like, he wants to like have his name up there with like all the greats. And, doing what he's doing and the things I've seen him do personally, like, when it's all said and done for him, like, he's going to be up there. Like, the way he can score the ball is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like he does some things in games where I'm just like, nobody else can do that. Like, you're the only one in the NBA that can do something like that.
All right, you guys ready to play a game?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Like this all hasn't been some kind of game already.
So, Frank, we are going to do a movie draft, okay? It's going to be a snake draft, and you are first. And I did a random draft generator thing.
Random.
So
It's
here's the
always
order.
random.
I did. Gerald saw me do it.
I did see it.
Honestly, I will say this. When I do fantasy football drafts, it's like a running joke. I always get like a top 2 pick. I don't know why.
See?
Like, random generators on the internet and stuff like that must love the name Frank.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to draft movies, and the order goes Frank, Espo, Gerald, Saul, Lindsay. So I know I put you on the spot with this one, so I'm going to let you think about movies real quick while I read just a few ads, okay? So, want to tell you guys about our friends over at BetMGM. Obviously, we love our friends at BetMGM. It makes sports so much more fun. If you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, make sure you do and use that bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, you will get up to $100 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Again, just make sure you use that bonus code PHNX. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Do you want a big, bright, beautiful sign right by your office like we have that says the University of Arizona? You should go to Saturday Neon and get one.
Gross. Gross.
It's so awesome. And you can get a discount by using promo code PHNX.
He already owns the Wildcats. Why does he need a sign?
Oh, Frank, one thing you need to know about Espo is he's the ultimate sellout. He went to U of A and he just sold us out. Anyway, tell them the rest there.
Go to SaturdayNeon.com. Use code PHNX for 10% off your order today and free shipping over orders of $200 or more.
I hate you, Espo.
It's all right. Frank's my best friend. I don't need you anymore.
We are best friends.
Ha! Everybody's on video. Just if you run into Jock Landell, don't tell him that time, all right?
Frank, you literally just made Espo's life.
Big, tall white guys love Espo. I don't know what it is.
We look like the number 10 standing next to each other. That's why.
I got nothing for that.
Let's reel this back in just a smidge.
Goodness.
And we'll tip off this snake draft here. So again, Frank, Espo, Gerald, Saul, Lindsay in that order. And we are drafting movies. Frank, you are on the clock.
So this is just any movie all time.
Literally any movie.
Jeez, this is hard.
You can take your favorites. You can pander to the audience because we will put this on Twitter for a vote. The people get to tell us who picked the best draft here.
Yes.
So you can take any route you want.
Gladiator.
Okay.
All right, there we
Ooh,
go.
okay.
So it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Godfather.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this one because I know it's gonna piss Espo off. The Dark Knight.
Of
God
course.
damn.
We knew that was coming.
Shawshank.
Knew that
Ooh,
one was
good one.
coming too. Okay, so I'm just gonna go straight up with my favorite movies, and I'm not pandering. I'm just
Okay.
they're gonna be
Per
absolutely
usual.
ridiculous, but I'm doing it anyway. But I'll pick the ones that I think are maybe a little more popular first. So I'm gonna go Pulp Fiction, and then I'm gonna go Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Thank you.
What?
Hocus
Oh my
Pocus.
God.
It's a good movie.
Well, I'm going to draft a movie then that I really love, and it's going to be Willy Wonka.
Oh, see,
Willy Wonka. Okay.
I get it.
Well, I'm gonna go off the beaten path as well then, and this is my favorite movie of all time. We're going V for Vendetta.
Oh, that's a Gerald
Interesting.
movie.
That's a great pick.
Love that movie.
It's a great pick.
Oh, so got the God. You know, I'm going back to the future. I'm going with a favorite of mine.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have to? Do you have to pick a specific one? Because there's like what 3 or 4.
Back to the Future, the
first
original.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Frank, you're up again.
I'll go Avengers Infinity War
Good one.
and Forrest Gump.
Forrest
Ooh,
Gump.
good.
That's a good
Solid.
one. Okay.
Frank's got a stacked lineup so far.
So far, so good.
Back to me again?
Yeah, Espo, that's you.
Oh. I am going to go Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Wow. Did you see it already?
Spider-Man.
I have seen it and I enjoyed it.
That didn't sound very convincing. You paid
You
Oh
took
my
mine in The Dark Knight, and I had to take one of
I
yours.
wasn't gonna
Oh
take
my
that.
God.
Bastard.
Hold
love
on.
that.
That's hilarious.
We are
great
going
movie.
to put this up to a vote. Are we vetoing this pick if
No.
he's never
No.
seen it?
Leave
No.
it. Leave
Let
it.
him have
No,
He's
no.
pandering. He's pandering. I love it.
Who said pandering was allowed and he's doing it?
Well, I mean, I feel like yeah, but
That's hilarious.
okay, fine.
He was just like,
You
yeah,
are out of
son, I
control.
loved it. I'm gonna throw a comedy in there. I feel like we don't have a lot of comedy. I'm gonna go
Okay.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Okay, that's a good one.
Good one.
To me now.
Yeah.
Which one's the third one in the Star Wars trilogy? It's
Revenge
I
of
have
the
no
Sith.
idea.
No. I'm sorry, the 6th one.
Oh,
Darth
Return
Vader.
of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Return of the Jedi. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. Oh brother, where art thou?
Okay.
And this is tough because I like both of these, and I feel like one panders a little more, and
Pander.
the other is more me.
Okay.
So you think I should pander a little
Yes,
more?
of course.
I don't know if it will or not, but then I'll go blow.
Yeah, I don't think that panders.
No, I don't think
I feel like that had a cult following at one point in
I
time.
think that's a really good movie.
I liked it.
I
Well, I
just
think it's a
don't.
good
I just
movie.
don't know how much everyone else loved it.
Yeah.
So should I
Yeah.
pick? Can I pick the other one then?
No,
No.
that's
Oh, you
too
already
bad.
picked.
Yeah, you went to the
Yeah.
podium and you submitted
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
Fine.
You turned in the card.
I guess I
Damn.
should have just asked
They
for your
played the
opinions.
jingle and everything already. It's
Yeah,
over.
it's already done. It's already on the screen. I'm gonna take White Man Can't Jump.
Oh, I
Okay.
love that movie.
Gerald was gonna have that.
I might have.
The new one, right?
No.
No.
Jack Harlow feature.
No.
I'm gonna go Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a cultured pick here. I know that's surprising.
Let's see what
Uh,
this is.
Life is Beautiful. It was the
Okay, yeah.
one of the only movies I've ever cried at. It was
Okay.
a
Roberto
fantastic film.
Bernini.
Yes.
Yep, good stuff.
Frank, what you got?
I'll go Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't love that movie, just I don't
Frank,
know what to
talk
say.
to him.
That's
Talk to him, Frank.
like I don't know what to say. It's the only like third movie that's ever won Best Picture, but yeah, whatever. There's so many I could go here,
This is tough.
especially with only 5.
Yep.
We can add 6 if you want. I don't care. We get to make the rules.
I'll go with Inception.
Okay.
Ooh, good
He's
pick.
got a pretty good lineup there.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 7 because they gave me my favorite line to scream, "Oh, what's in the box?"
It's a great movie too.
It is.
Fantastic flick.
I've honestly never seen it.
You
need
gotta
to
watch it.
Oh, it's very good.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with another comedy. I'm gonna go with Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna lose this anyway because I lose every freaking draft. So
You do.
I'm gonna take a movie I really like, and it's a scary movie, and I don't like scary movies. Get Out.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
a good movie though.
Great movie.
And it still holds up.
Mhm.
Okay, this is my are we doing 5 or are we doing 6?
We can do 6.
We're gonna do
Okay.
6.
Let's
Okay.
do six.
All
All right, we're
Let's
gonna
do
do 6 then. Then I'm gonna do Edward Scissorhands
Okay.
Oh, ew.
and excuse me? What was that?
Ew.
What,
I
Frank?
thought Hocus Pocus was a bad pick until you said that.
Oh my God, Frank is my favorite guest of all time.
Just wait until you hear my last pick.
Oh no.
Son-in-Law.
Oh my God,
It
it's
is.
terrible.
You just took a Pauly Shore
Son-in-Law
movie.
is my absolute favorite movie
why?
of
Because
all
you like
time.
Steven
Not
Tyler
even the best
PJ.
Pauly
Steven
Shore
Tyler
The
movie.
amount of lines that you get out of Son-in-Law, and every time you watch it, it puts you in a better mood.
Oh my
It just,
gosh.
I'm sorry.
I have
I'm not
no
sorry.
words.
IMDb just threw up.
Oh my gosh.
Holy
Also,
hell.
Hocus Pocus holds up every Halloween.
No, it
Everyone
doesn't. It's
rewatches
awful.
it.
It is an awful,
it's-
awful movie.
No, it's not.
It's rough.
She's
Haters.
still gonna win. We all know this.
I know.
She always
No,
wins.
Gerald and
I-
Frank.
If she wins this one, like it's erroneous on all accounts. Absolutely erroneous.
All right, Saul, you're back up.
Oh shit, it's me again.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, I have no idea.
You are
know what?
prepared?
I'm gonna take Toy Story. I'm gonna pander.
Okay. Toy Story. Not bad. I love Return of the King, but I got to get a Lord of the Rings one in there as well. So I'm gonna go with the Two Towers.
There we
Lord
go.
of the Rings.
What'd you say?
The Two Towers.
The Two Towers.
Okay.
I feel like we need some classic films in this, and I'm gonna take Psycho.
Okay.
Okay.
Opening scene in downtown Phoenix too.
That's true.
He showed the Westward Ho.
They did.
All right, Frank, your last pick.
I could go so many different directions in this one.
That's a good one from Brian.
Only because this one has like a personal. I just love this movie. It's like, and it single-handedly ended the Cold War. I'm gonna go with Rocky IV.
Okay.
Love it.
Oh my goodness.
To be fair, I legit had an argument with somebody the other day saying that Rocky IV to me was the best of the Rockies. Obviously,
It's the best.
Rocky.
It's the best.
Yeah.
No, it is
But
the best.
Rocky won the awards, but Rocky IV was
The best.
was just popcorn at its best.
Rocky.
Right.
Go
Rocky
put on that soundtrack and
Yes.
go do a workout and tell me you don't just go absolutely nuts.
Okay, so here. Oh no, you have 6.
Do
right?
I have 6?
Yeah, you
Okay,
have
I didn't. I
6.
couldn't
Yeah.
remember. All right.
Yeah, we all have
We have
six.
All right. Good.
6 or
I
7.
can't
We have
count.
six.
What do you
So-
want?
Yeah, we all have
Okay,
six.
so here's what we got. Frank drafted Gladiator, Avengers Infinity War, Forrest Gump, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Inception, and Rocky IV. Espo drafted The Godfather, Back to the Future, Spider-Man Across the Spideyverse,
Which he hasn't seen.
Life is Beautiful, Seven, and Psycho. Gerald drafted Dark Knight, V for Vendetta, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Empire Strikes Back, Dumb and Dumber, and Two Towers. Saul drafted Shawshank, Willy Wonka, Return of the Jedi, White Men Can't Jump, Get Out, and Toy Story. And I drafted Pulp Fiction, Hocus Pocus, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou,
list.
Blow, Edward Scissorhands, and Son-in-Law.
That list.
And we got one of our best super chats of the day from Brian, who said, with her picks, we know why Lindsay sleeps a lot. Thanks, Brian.
Like yours reads like if the Onion put out their top 6 movies of all time.
Listen,
I mean, Hocus Pocus is a movie you can watch one time a year.
Right.
But you watch it every single year. Do you guys watch all these movies every single year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, y'all got a lot of time on your hands, apparently.
Oh man.
I watch these. I don't need a time period to watch any of my movies. If they're on, you can better believe I'm watching them.
Same though. Like if you put Hocus Pocus on right now, I'm watching it.
I think
So you're telling me Christmas Eve rolls around and you flip on the TV late at night and you see Hocus Pocus is on. You're turning it on and watching the movie.
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, because everybody knows the only film you can watch on Christmas Eve is Die Hard.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Let's not even go down that rabbit hole. I don't know.
He makes a good point.
Listen, we've got a good mix in here. Some people say Gerald. A lot of people are saying Gerald's gonna win. Some people are saying Espo's gonna win. Saul, definitely not me and you. Frank, you do have the celebrity pool here.
Yes.
So
This is true.
I will say,
Once we put it on Twitter, he's going to run away with it, I think.
totally.
Hey,
I think I won because I picked them. So, they're my favorite movies.
Right.
look, you might be number 3 in the poll, but you're number 1 in our hearts if that matters to you.
That's amazing. I'm on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
Look,
go.
you even remember what the name of the stupid bit I did was. All right.
Oh my goodness. Well, we will put this on Twitter and we'll leave it up there for you guys to have your voices heard. Let us know how you feel because we know you definitely will. Frank, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming through. This has been a blast.
Thank you for having me. It's
If
great.
you ever come back into town,
Yes, we'll
come
have you
come
in
through the
studio.
studio.
Always
for
an
sure.
open
Only-
invitation.
Only if I get a little reserved Kaminsky Cove area somewhere around there.
Perfect. I will build one for you right now in the studio.
Please.
Uh,
Please. Just put like a love sack or something on there and then we'll call it good.
You got it. Good luck with the wedding. I'll see you at the bachelor party.
Sounds good. Thank you guys. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Frank.
Bye, Frank. See you later.
It was awesome.
Oh
That's
my
Frank was
fantastic.
amazing.
gosh.
That did not disappoint.
No,
No,
that
not
was
even
the
a little
perfect, like, middle of the week pick me up kind of episode. You know what I mean? All right, but it's not over yet, y'all. We do have some more stuff for you to close out the show. But first, our friends over at Illegal Pete's. If you are looking for a great place to grab lunch or dinner, Illegal Pete's is that spot for you. And Illegal Pete's also has a lot of really cool specials going on throughout the week. You can start your week off with Margarita Monday at Illegal Pete's, exclusive to Arizona locations. They have $3 margs all day, every Monday. Nothing brightens up that Monday mood more than soaking up the sun with a few margaritas. And of course, you cannot forget about Taco Tuesdays. $2 tacos all day, every Tuesday. So you can pick and enjoy your favorites, whether it's chicken, pork, veggie tacos. They're all just $2. So swing by and start your week off the right way at Illegal Pete's. And Espo, here is now where we're going to talk about Shady Rays. So you can throw shade at whomever you so choose to.
I have no shade left in my heart. That was everything I could have asked for.
I mean, honestly, that was like I'm not throwing shade. I'm being genuine here. That was probably one of the best moments for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Like, not
I
only
mean, he
did
said we're
Frank
best
come in, he
friends,
said
right.
you were best
I
friends
mean,
on
yeah.
camera.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Like,
have
you
to-
have that
have
proof for the rest of
evidence.
your life.
And all the shade we needed was everything he threw at you. So this is
I mean, it was. Listen, we don't get a lot of opportunities because Lindsay is a sweetheart, but it kind of made our day a little bit, just
you
a little
know.
bit, for somebody else to kind of give her a little bit of the jab here and there. It's awesome.
To be fair, I did ask Frank to do a lot of things when we were at the Suns together, so it's only fair that he got to throw a
You
little
just
shade
holding
my way.
that resentment this whole time.
He
I
remembered.
remember. I remember those video shoots, Lindsay.
the next time Jock comes on, I'm playing the video of Frank saying I'm his best friend.
Oh, you're gonna start a
Jock,
war?
Oh,
Jock
man.
just won't admit it, and
Okay.
now he's lost. So-
All right. Well, back to Shady Rays exclusively for our listeners. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. We did have one more super chat come through. It was from Lawrence, but There was no words attached to the super chat.
There's no words.
So, Lauren,
The great words of
Dr. King said.
darkness.
oh, wait, we have one. Hold on.
Oh,
It
there we go.
says, Saul, you failed to mention your star cameo role on Blippi during your time with the D-backs. Your face is destined for the big screen.
God damn it.
There we go. Thanks, Lauren.
Well,
We
we're gonna
gotta-
need to look into that.
Oh, you
now.
haven't
Have you not
seen that?
this?
Oh my God, it's spectacular.
It's literally is every single person that has a little kid, and I'm sure Jacob, he just had a baby a little while ago. When they get to the point where they start watching Blippi and cartoons, I will come across their screen and they will be like, "What the hell? What's going on?" Like, I get messages all the time for that. It's the stupidest thing.
Oh, I can't wait to see this now.
So I'm here in your kids' lives. You're welcome.
That literally is the most terrifying comment that's ever been made on this show.
so bad.
Hey, darkness. It's got to be the role model here. Might as well be me.
Is that how this
My
goes?
God.
They may as well be you.
Why not? Why not us?
Anything is possible.
I mean, why not us?
This
Unreal.
show has been off the rails since word one.
That's crazy.
Well, don't worry, because this next segment is legitimate basketball talk. We are now going to be joined by Ben Fifer, an NBA draft analyst. He stopped by earlier today to give us a little bit of a primer for tomorrow's draft. Ben Fifer joins the show now. He's an NBA draft analyst. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I am very excited for the draft. It is like Christmas for us. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk about some second round picks because I feel like most people focus on all the top picks. So
Yes, and as Suns fans, that's kind of like the area we need to be focused on. So this is awesome.
What is the first round? I do not know what this is. Yeah.
So what should Suns fans know about this draft class? I keep hearing that it's really deep. There's a lot of 3 and D wing players to keep an eye out for. What should we know?
in my view, after around like 50-ish, the draft kind of falls off pretty hard.
Crap.
But the thing is that there are almost certainly going to be players that I like or that people like that fall to that range that aren't. So there's going to be some good options for the Suns. There are a good amount of like kind of different flavors of wing players. So I think the Suns, whether or not they want like a scorer or a shooter or someone more defense oriented, there'll probably be someone there. There's a lot of really interesting mid-major like upside players that don't really get talked about very much. Like these smaller school guys that tend to go under the radar, and some of them find their way into the league. We see the Heat do this all the time, and such. But that's kind of how the second round I think is going to shake out.
Well, I was going to save this question for last, but since you brought it up, who are some of the maybe second round players that could fall to the Suns? As of right now, as far as we know, they have the 52nd pick after the Bradley Beal trade still. So who are some players that you think might maybe fall that far or be available in that range? That would make sense.
Just thinking about some of like the best case scenario options. I think Jordan Walsh from Arkansas would be a really great option for them as someone who I've seen like consistently mocked in like the 40s, which means, plausibly could slip a couple more picks. Not an offensive player at all, but the Suns do not need anyone they pick at this point to play offense. Just a really stellar defensive wing prospect, 6'9" with great length, movement skills. As like one of the youngest players in this draft class, was an elite defensive guy at Arkansas with his ability to defend the ball and to like defend off ball as well. So that would be a really, really excellent fall if they could get someone like that to maybe slip all the way down the board. Another interesting option, I think that's probably going to be talked about a lot for a lot of these teams, is Seth Lundy, who is a Penn State wing who, again, if plausible that someone mocked in the 40s or that range falls to this pick. He's more of your traditional 3 and D wing. Really lit up the combine and late season with his incredible shot making. a guy at 6'5", 6'6", who can hit all types of shots off the dribble, off of movement, and is also really strong as well and has a little bit of a driving game too. And that strength, I think, helps him on defense as well. Just like a potential low usage role player at the wing, which I feel like is exactly what the Suns would be looking for at that point. Just like to try to squeeze all they can out of whatever like rookie contracts they can do.
There's been some rumbling about Amani Bates and kind of the Phoenix Suns at this point at 52. Do you think he would be a guy to potentially look at and take a chance, even with some of the question marks about him?
I think at like in this range, this is like the range where I would have him. I think despite all of the problems, like the shot making talent at that size is pretty undeniable. Despite all of his other problems with defense and playmaking and his production and stuff, I feel like the Suns probably wouldn't go that way just because Amani is another guy who is best, or like it seems like he's going to be most useful as like a guy who can have the ball and, you know, shoot pull up threes, and the Suns don't exactly have possessions to give to him. Maybe if they think they can work on his defense or his, you know, other skills, that he could be a really good like just off ball shooter for them. And yeah, I mean at that range, like in the 50s, if you think there's someone with that kind of upside there, I think it's definitely never a bad idea to just go for that kind of player.
Now, there are a lot of teams in the draft that have, you know, 2-3 picks. And so if you're a team like the Suns that's maybe looking, that doesn't have a lot to offer in a trade, but might be looking for something like, hey, we can buy our way into the second round. Are there any teams that kind of jump in your mind as like, okay, maybe this team is not going to use 2 second rounders or use both their picks?
Off the top of my head, I know the Hornets and the Pacers have a lot of picks. And the Pacers just did a trade. So maybe not the Pacers, but the Hornets have like 3 second round picks, I believe. And then like a late first as well. So that could definitely be a team that could look to move down. That's the main one that I think of. Or the Hornets just have so many picks, and they're in trade rumors, and they already have a lot of like young prospects on their team that they're trying to develop. So they probably don't want to like carry so many more rookies. And it's also a pretty weak international class outside of, you know, the top, obviously. So there aren't really a ton of like good draft and stash options that they could go with either. So I could definitely see a team like Charlotte be willing to like sell a second round pick to a team like Phoenix or someone looking to get into that like mid, like early second range.
And just to cover our bases here, because you never know what trade might happen. Obviously, DeAndre Ayton, there's a lot of potential options that could go. So if the Suns do find a way to trade their way into the late first round, somewhere around there, are there any guys that jump out as you as, okay, yeah, this is a guy that the Suns could probably use?
Yeah, I think there are a lot more like useful options at that point, in terms of players that could actually like contribute. A couple good options. Andre Jackson out of UConn would probably be like best case scenario. He's probably like the worst shooter and scorer in the draft, but that really does not matter for the Suns at all. And what he is like an elite playmaker, elite in transition, has high-end athletic tools in terms of speed and vertical and balance, and he's been a great on and off-ball defender. Just like a perfect connective, like team player kind of who makes great decisions, takes care of the ball, is always cutting and moving. That is like the exact kind of player that fits well next to ball dominant shot making stars, which the Suns have a lot of. So that would be, I think, really, really ideal. Ben Shepherd out of Belmont would also be pretty ideal as another one of these like 3 and D-ish wings who's probably a little higher quality than the ones you're going to get like Lundy or them in the late second round, who, along with the versatile shot making that he's shown on and off the ball, he's a pretty good driver as well with a quick first step, and is a really active, you know, team defender as well. And his general athleticism and, you know, lateral quickness and stuff helps him a lot to add on defense. So that's just another like wingish type player that could be a really, really useful get for them. And I also want to mention Bryce Sensabaugh, since he's a guy who it might be just like a medical red flag with him, like because he didn't get like a green room invite, despite I feel like most people have him as like a top 20 at least guy, which I certainly think that. Just like a ridiculous scorer, shooter, shot maker with weaknesses in terms of defense and passing and such. But that could be a situation where like you get to the early second round and it's like kind of a talent that is too good to pass up on as well. So those are just a couple options off the top of my head that I think could be good in that like trade up range.
I have one non-Suns question for you.
Is
Michael Jordan really going to not take Scoot Henderson? Is he going to find a way in his final draft to really mess it up for Charlotte?
Well, I saw there was the report this morning like that was like, yeah, Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan ultimately will have the last say. It's like, yeah, really great way to put a vote of confidence in your pick when you're when you're already prepping to blame it on the owner who's leaving. I don't know. I mean, I like we saw this kind of smoke with Jabari Smith potentially going number 1 last year, and it didn't actually happen. But I mean, I certainly Brandon Miller is a good player and a good prospect, but Scoot is on a different tier. I think most people in the industry, like most good, smart draft people, generally tend to think that way. That Scoot, with his incredible production at the age and his athletic tools and his passing and his shooting upside, just it would be the pick. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Michael Jordan to make an ill-advised decision.
Can I give you my tinfoil hat theory on this?
Oh boy.
Sure.
Michael Jordan is only spreading this misinformation to help out Portland, who he feels bad about not having gotten him at number 2, so they can get a better trade, thinking that Scoot Henderson's going to be available. Look, I mean, follow the dots. It's pretty obvious.
We'll go with that. I can't argue with that. I don't have
rule it out.
That's what makes the NBA draft so exciting, right? Ben, thank you so much for joining us in your time. Where can our viewers follow you? Do you want to plug anything right now?
Yeah, just my Twitter at BJPF_ is where all my content is. I've been doing a bunch of YouTube videos on different draft topics, sleepers, or whatever, as well as just follow my Twitter for any other content that'll be on there. Yeah.
Awesome. That is at BJ. Of course. So one more time, that's at BJPF_ on Twitter. So make sure you guys all give him a follow.
And like that, Saul reappears.
Hey. Shout out to Ben for joining us on the show as well. Guys, I'm not going to lie. The whole time that we played that pre-recorded interview for you guys, we were still arguing about our picks in this movie draft.
Whoa, hold on.
And by arguing, I mean everyone else in the PHNX offices came over to shit on my list.
No.
It's a bad list.
You just said, I'm not allowed. I know most of the stuff we talk about off air stays off air. That's the rule. But I am not letting this stand. You said Pauly Shore was one of the greatest actors of our time. No, ma'am. No.
That's just a bad.
I was definitely exaggerating.
Well, it didn't sound like it. It sounded like you said it from the chest with conviction.
Yeah, because I knew it would get a rise out of you guys. But I stand by the idea that Pauly Shore movies back in the day, like Encino Man and Biodome and Son-in-Law, were fantastic. They were just one of those feel-good movies you could put on and it would make you giggle.
My brain hurts.
That's wild.
I stand by my picks, and I stand by Pauly Shore movies.
Even Brendan Fraser would admit Encino Man sucked.
Bro, I watched Encino Man like last month, and it's still funny.
God.
It's still funny, and the outfits are fantastic.
I mean,
they're throwing that out there.
They're good fodder on the weekend when there's nothing else on, sure, but like I wouldn't have picked them as one of my top 5 of all time.
I
6.
love Son-in-Law. Like, I think you're underestimating how much joy that movie brings me.
Remember when you asked me before the show, should I like lean more towards my actual favorite picks or should I play to the crowd? And I told her, I tried to warn her. I said, play to the crowd. But she leaned full into her picks.
You said lean into your shenanigans.
I said, for the most part, play to the crowd, lean in for a couple.
Well,
we're going to own this.
She leaned in and fell over.
In August, we're going to do a son-in-law watch-along.
We should.
We'll all start the movie at the same time, and we will comment on it along with Lindsay.
Why are you punishing me for this?
Because Lindsay brought this upon all of us.
I mean, to be fair, we should all have a movie that we all have to do a watch-along with.
I'm down.
Can we
All
put
right,
a
if we
time
do
limit
that-
of an hour and 45 minutes on
No.
it, though? Because I'm not
No,
trying
I
to
know.
watch a 17-hour Lord of the Rings movie. No offense.
What happens is when Gerald makes his pick, we get 2 for every Gerald one because his shit's like 4 hours long.
I know.
Gerald's gonna be like,
The Lord of the Rings movies are 3, and I would never pick that because you
Do
guys
you
don't
know
have the
how
attention
long
spans for
3
it.
hours is?
Oh my God,
And
3
I
hours.
just said I would never pick it because you guys don't have the attention spans for it.
And
Gerald's
then
gonna be like,
Gandalf did this.
Ken Burns
then Gandalf
baseball.
did
That's
this.
what-
Listen, I
You
will.
picked a movie you haven't even seen, so I don't want to hear it out of this
it's
end of
called
the
pandering.
out of the panel.
Listen, Gerald, I watched all of the Lord of the Rings movies, and I thought they were fine. I enjoyed them while I was watching them. But because of the sheer amount of time it takes to watch them, I would never do it again.
That's crazy.
So can I?
I'll just leave it at that.
Jan
That's
Paul
wild.
Edward in the chat says anyone list Major Payne.
I mean, that's a good movie.
as a former drill sergeant, how accurate is Major Payne?
Oh.
Is it a good depiction?
It
How do
is-
we feel?
It is probably one of my top 100 movies.
All right.
I love it.
Good to know.
That's who
I feel like
Saul
with his little,
based his life
little
off
nubs
of.
just kicking.
What's your major malfunction?
Oh man, I love that movie.
That's a funny movie. I will give you that one for sure.
He
All
said,
right.
"Bubba, I ain't got no legs."
What?
Well, here's the deal. I think you should grab some popcorn. I think you should grab some Four Peaks beer, and you should have a movie night and pick one of the movies that you haven't seen off of this list. Unless you are a crazy person and have seen them all, then pick your favorite and watch that one. But make sure you grab some Four Peaks on your way home from work today. And also, make sure you head over to 4peaks4teachers.org. We've been telling you guys about this for the last couple of weeks, but 4 Peaks is doing some really cool stuff for teachers. They are giving away 11 $1,000 cash grants, and one lucky teacher will win a teacher's lounge renovation provided by 4 Peaks. We all, I think, can collectively agree that teachers deserve a little extra love, especially during the summer, and this is a great way for them to get that. You can nominate a teacher, again, at 4peaks4teachers.org. Just make sure you do it sooner rather than later because nominations are due by June 30th. And make sure you check out at 4 Peaks Brew or at 4 Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 years or older to drink 4 Peaks, and we ask that you drink responsibly. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
One of the best episodes we've ever done.
Tomorrow is going to be fun because I don't know. There's something about tomorrow that makes me feel like there are going to be moves that the Suns will make. I don't know how many. I don't know if they'll be, the kind of banger moves that everybody's hoping for and like trading DA, but I do feel like they will make a move or two to try and, either get into the draft at a higher pick. I know they want to, but if they can or can't is debatable. So I'm really excited for tomorrow as opposed to last year at this time. I was like, James Jones basically said, "Fuck them picks."
To borrow a phrase from the 90s, I really hope whatever move they make is the bomb,
I hope it blows up tomorrow. I really do.
Light that fuse and let's get moving,
Let's
baby.
go, baby.
Tomorrow is going to look a little bit different.
Draft ain't for everybody.
Tomorrow is going to look a little bit different from a show perspective. We will not be live at 3 p.m. Instead, we will be live at 5 p.m. and we're going to do like a 4-ish some odd hour long watch along.
Because
for
the draft takes time, people.
It does. And so we want you to come hang out with us. You can pop in at 5. You can come in and out. You can hang out for the whole entire thing. But we're going to be live. We're going to be talking about what's happening in the draft. Of course, we're going to be having some fun. And if anything does end up happening trade-wise, we will be there to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So plan for that, 5 p.m. tomorrow.
We'll be there to talk about it.
We will. We're here. We're going to be there. So come hang out with us. Until we see you tomorrow, you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Y'all heard Frank say it. I'm his best friend. But if any of you tell Jock, you're dead to me. Ahoy, hoy.
Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsay, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family.